Words like transgenders, illegals, and females are all offensive.
Now it's time for Brad versus TikTok, my daily segment where I take on the craziest ideas from the Clock app.
Pronoun of the day is slugs.
Today, this might just be the most insufferable woke TikTok of all time.
A tip for you if you don't want to use bigoted language. Don't use an adjective as a noun for people. Practically, what does this look like? Words like transgenders, illegals, and females are all offensive. Instead, talk about transgendered people, illegal immigrants, or female people. Or just refer to us by our gender, women. Using an adjective as a noun in this way is one way to dehumanize people.
Oh my god. The language policing of the woke left is so tired and so insufferable. I mean, when they talk about not using bigoted language, they're not talking about avoiding slurs. They're policing people's micro-phrasing as if it makes some sort of difference when it's really just all part of a euphemistic treadmill. For example, they said homeless people was stigmatizing, and then now they should call them unhoused people. And it's like, they still don't have a house. You haven't solved the problem. You haven't helped anyone. You've just virtue signaled, and then the whatever stigma was attached to the old phrase will probably just move along to the next phrase, and then you'll tell us that one's problematic and we need a new phrase, and the whole thing is such a pointless and fruitless endeavor, other than, I guess, making yourself seem so tolerant and open-minded and progressive on social media, which is, of course, these people's real goal. But what she's saying makes no sense at all. To claim that using an adjective as a noun therefore makes it offensive and dehumanizing is stupid. I mean, athletic people and athletic participants are called athletes. Is that dehumanizing? Calling gay people gays is not considered offensive. Like, that doesn't offend me or dehumanize me at all. I don't say transgenders because it's just a little clunky and it's just not really, I think, the way you're supposed to say that. I do say transgender people, but I'm not going to tone police somebody who says that. I'm going to worry about what they're actually saying in its substance and whether that is something that is true or false, offensive or not, bigoted or not. Like, the micromanagement of the phraseology that people use is so not the point. And for example, saying, oh, you have to say undocumented immigrant instead of illegal immigrant or whatever is a great example of why Democrats and progressives lose the public on immigration issues. People don't care. They don't want you to go out of your way to avoid acknowledging reality, which is that they immigrated illegally, so they are illegal immigrants. I wouldn't say illegals is a little old-fashioned, but again, what matters is what you're saying, not the minutia of how you say it. And I still am not over the fact that she suggested that females is offensive. It's just referring to a group of people by their biological sex. Like, that is not offensive. It is factual. And she's saying to call them women instead, but these are the same people that tell us that not all females are women. So the math is not mathing for me, Cupcake. It is simply not. Now, someone in her comments section did point this out, saying that the same people telling us not to say females and to say women can't define woman. And this person tried to offer a definition, but failed, honestly.
There seems to be a lot of confused conservatives in that comment section that don't understand what a woman is. Women are adult humans who identify as women. Oh, but that's circular. Of course it is. It is merely a concept. Gender is not an objective truth. It is what we make it as a society. I don't have a problem defining what a woman is. You just don't like my definition. Because it makes you uncomfortable that gender is not immutable. Because if gender can be questioned, that means that you may need to question yours. And I understand in a patriarchal society that can be scary.
Oh my gosh, this video made me roll my eyes so hard I think I gave myself a headache. You can't define woman as any adult who identifies as a woman. That's not a definition. It's meaningless. If you define something by using the word, you haven't defined it. Like, I don't know how to explain to these people how language works. This is just language 101. And if all it takes to be a woman is to identify as one, but anything else cannot be different, right? So I could just sit here and in one moment say, I now identify as a woman, therefore I am woman, without changing anything about me, then whether you realize it or not, what you're saying is that women isn't a meaningful concept. It means literally nothing. I don't think that's a message most people with common sense are going to be compelled by or are going to sign on to. And I actually don't think it's necessary to accept that radical take and that radical perspective to even advocate for like acceptance for transgender people. You can say that a woman is an adult human female and a transgender woman is simply somebody born biologically male who wants to live life as, for all intents and purposes, a woman, even though they are not one. That's not offensive. That's just true. And it doesn't mean we shouldn't have grace for those people or treat them with dignity or kindness, but instead you're pushing this total nonsense because you think it's what you have to do to be inclusive or tolerant or open-minded or whatever, but you're actually having the opposite effect because you're making people think you're radical and ludicrous because what you're saying simply is, and in the process making them less likely to accept the things you're promoting and pushing. So great job, I guess, at being so woke and so ridiculous that even most of the people in the TikTok comment section thought this creator was full of it and that what she was saying was ridiculous. But what did you think? Let me know in the comments below, and do hit that like button to reward my suffering through this sheer stupidity. It truly mind-numbing stuff.